You may be aware of this line of thought, for example, the one that is reflected in the design of the veracity of rumors. Rumors, they start around an individual and make their rounds inside every corner of the society. This is a magazine that approaches their truths. I designed over 280 issues of this magazine over the span of 25 years. The editorial content was well received and gained a large number of readers. The design of the title letters was inspired by the feel of the retro style character structures from the 1920s to the 1940s. Moreover, it is interspersed with many illustrations. The illustration stimulates the right side of the brain and the text stimulates the left side. The image on the right side of the brain collides with the text on the left side, and the determination and the transient nature of rumors is expressed vividly. This entire style changes continuously every 3 months. It navigates freely, seeking nature and freshness. Whimsical rumors and momentary rumors. Illustrations are sketched monthly by different illustrators. For example, the theme of this series is glasses. These are 3 issues. The next 3 issues are about touch or grasp. These have become themes that depict the workings of the 5 senses that lie at the root of rumors. The next one is entanglement. It is a figure of 2 people tangled up. Also, there were themes of illustrations which were elected to be contours. This is a series that borrows the contour of stamps, bring about significant alteration every 3 issues, just as how rumors tend to mutate, this evolve beyond what is common practice. But what we were ultimately aiming for was a single identity, essentially for it to settle into a unique form, to change, to shift, so it converges to one identity, to one personality. That is a kind of design we hope to achieve. The next one is a magazine called Ginkgo, Silver Flower. In most of the issues, the cover photo is substantially tilted. Actually, this tilt is the tilt of the Earth, the angle corresponding to the inclination of Earth's axis. The Earth is tilted by 23.5 degree in its orbital plane around the Sun. A book arbitrarily kept on a table inconspicuously reflects the truth of the world surrounding humans. I remember being strongly inspired by this. The reason behind the inclination of characters on the front page, that it corresponds to the Earth's axis, was not explained initially. No one knew, only the designer knew. We had started this oblique tilted design from the year 1975, but it was in 1983 that my design was first published in Ginkgo. It is a writing about facing the north sky. Even the article itself is inclined at an angle of 23.5 degree. Why does this magazine have to conform to the tilt of the earth? Why does a book have to characterize the laws of the universe? I have written down my thoughts regarding this matter. It is an article I put effort into, and I would like it if you could look it up and give it a read. Tilting creates a sense of thought that somehow is about to start running or something is about to move. That got escalated as we went, and for the design of 77th issue, we got accustomed to using tricky angles such as half of 23.5, which is 11.7, and half of that, which is 5.87. All these are angles derived from the tilt angle of the Earth, 23.5 degree. Aided by these inclinations, I endeavored to come up with a cover page which sustains perspectives in all directions. Japanese people from around 200 years ago would sit around a single ukiyo-e, Edo-style woodblock print, and everyone would enjoy it. This is what I learned from Sadao Kikuchi, a researcher on ukiyo-e. In this picture, lines from people facing different directions are included, but then would it not be wonderful if we had a book cover design that could be viewed and read from different directions? Adding to the tilt of the Earth's axis, it was a challenge to try capturing the lines of multiple viewpoints. This is an example of how one is many can also be extended to the direction in which a book can be read. This is a design I really like. Now let us look at U, issue number 8. It is a design from 1975. It is a special issue with a bit of a puzzling title. The study of defines, the study of mistakes. It was a joint project with Mr. Matsuoka, who was the chief editor. The design was a bit too elaborate. The content, typeface, and the size of the inlaid text all are different. It's a collection of text mosaics. This is a design gathered from the character layout of the beautiful Islamic calligraphy. It is an assortment of texts at different angles. Let us look at the video. I admire the Islamic culture, especially how delicate the character calligraphy is. It is one of the wonderful traditional heritages of mankind alongside the Chinese calligraphy. These are the historic Islamic calligraphy which were used as reference. With a flow like that of ripples, it is full of lyricism. I spoke to Mr. Matsuoka about whether this kind of design be pursued in Japanese typography. And with his help, we actualized it. Islamic calligraphy, which is multi-directional like mosaic, also considered to be like a maze, embodies in its design the image of character arrangement. Many images from the past to the present have been coming and going inside my mind. Just then, capturing it and creating its prototype involved a lot of people, and while incurring considerable costs, we learned and adopted those techniques and ways of thinking. We were going to be that figure. Supported by Mr. Matsuoka's excellence in writing, an eccentric calligraphy work was born. This design is actually based on three primary colors: yellow, red, and indigo. Black ink has not been used. The color of the characters that look black are made by the combination of the three primary colors. The next one is U, issue 1001, the axiom of resemblance. It is a special feature of things that appear similar. Several handwritten characters are arrayed. All are characters that were intended to be written as You, the name of the magazine. In other words, they are made up characters, but reader will somehow read it as You. The readers of You will insistently read them as You, the You that means to play. The correct character that means to play is inscribed once in a small typeface. It is the design of bebbles. Do you all know Babel? It is how babies talk, like Gaga or Mama, that only mothers understand. They are vague and ambiguous words. Taking a hint from the title of this issue, the axiom of resemblance, the vague talk of babies, the babble of character recognition, replaced with cryptic characters or incorrect characters, was made the theme of the cover design. Clustering many characters to make one character stand out. This develops into an unconventional case of many is one that exceeds expectations. It is an example of having several false characters assembled to suggest the single correct one. Starting with Mr. Shigo Matsuoka, all the false characters were handwritten by many members of the editorial staff. Now then, let us change the appearance of the design a bit. Nova Japana Literaturo is a literary magazine published by leftist writers post-war. This design is almost 45 years old. It took a year from 1964 to design it. It is one of the works from my younger days. The colors were limited to 2. Therefore, it was printed, covered with a stronger color, and on top of that, a vivid pattern was laid out that will make an impression. The vitality of the literature, the swell of writing was emphasized, the design giving a very Japanese impression. We designed it by changing the pattern continuously. Concentric circles that repeat like ripples form the basis for this pattern. The ripples that go inward look like a sphere. The ripples that expand outward resemble a hole. Altering these two in different ways and combining them gave us infinite patterns. Let us take a look at the video of the generation of these patterns. Black and white, these distinctly separated patterns were created by considering the return to the traditional Japanese pattern. The next one is a magazine called Mathematics Seminar. This was designed starting from 1962. Mathematics Seminar, a magazine pursuing modern mathematics, maths and science, a design that was made 40 years ago. The pattern that keeps varying on the front cover is from the accumulation of concentric circles. The bigger circle on the outside, the circle in the center, and then the inner smaller circle. When such circles of 3 different sizes were arranged as full circles and semicircles, combined and superimposed, it gave rise to such a dynamic pattern. Like this, for example. There is a video for this as well. Let us have a look. An organic design that expands and contracts and develops within itself. Organic is a word that means like a living organism. In 1964, I named his technique the self-propagating design. Propagating by itself, it creates limitless variations.